Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection show is on the air. We're at PACT-TV studios. It's Halloween night, day, and it's October 31st. And we have two special guests. So happen they're both goalies because, boy, watching the start of the Wild, watching the start of UMD, I think we need some goalie help right now to get through the season and set this up. But these two guys are starting a goalie school up in Duluth, Minnesota that takes the whole upper Northeast. That this school will bring in a lot of kids and help the Northland and getting some good goalies. So we got Jerry Pickar. He's ex-goalie from Duluth East.
Correct, yep.
And did you play any college?
I did. I played at St. Scholastica my freshman year and was a walk-on goalie at Northern Michigan University.
Okay, and now you're still the Bantam AA coach?
Nope.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
not this year.
You gave it up, okay.
Been working strictly with goalies and one of the local high school teams here.
Okay, and to my right, we got Terrace Lennox, and he broke many records at UMD in the early 90s, correct?
That was a while back, yes.
And
Records are meant to be broken, and they were broken. So
everyone?
not everyone. I
Oh.
only hold 2 left.
Oh, which two?
Maybe I have 3. Sorry. Most penalties, most penalty minutes, and most points by a goalie.
Great, great.
Take care of the house.
But what we're here today for is that these two goalies started a school for youth goalies.
Well, let's step back a step here. There's actually 3 of us: myself, Jerry Pickar, and Patty Elsmore. We got together. We've known for quite some time that there is a need for goalie coaching and for the development of goalies in the area. We had done some camps over the last few years, but camps are camps. You get a lot of kids out. They get the coaching, but each one does not get the attention that they deserve. So what we've done is we have started Upper Midwest Elite Goalie Academy, UMEGA, UMEGA for short. We are doing that in the Northern Elite Training Facility down on Garfield Avenue on synthetic ice.
So is it down by the Goodwill or close to the Goodwill in Garfield or in
Close
the
to.
middle?
Yeah,
Or
close to.
Comfort.
Yep.
Okay. And how big of a place is it that, how many goalies can you bring in at one time to help?
Well, what we do is, this is all individual training. So they're
Okay.
private lessons. The
Okay.
lessons are 45 minutes each. And trust us when we say 45 minutes is plenty of time, because what we do with them, the work that we put them through, the drills that we put them through, they are gassed when they are done.
And so is this goal all season then, or how does that work?
Yep, we started it in June. We've had very busy July, August, September. We will plan to keep it going. Folks can go to our website and sign up for sessions, and we'll keep going all year long so that the kids don't have a break. We can continue to work with them on a weekly basis. We'll also do a review of their games and break down their games and help them see where they need some more additional work, and go from there.
Are most of them peewees and bantams?
Well, I just want to mention, just piggyback off of what Jerry had mentioned and then how busy we were this summer. Just to give everyone an idea, we did 57 private lessons in August, and we did 63 private lessons in September. And when you think about September, school started in September. So the majority of those sessions were done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from basically 3:30 in the afternoon to 8:45. So that amount of sessions in a short period of time, there's a need for it, absolutely.
Okay. What's a perfect scenario for, do you mostly take peewees and bantams? that most of your kids?
We have some squirt goalies,
okay.
Pee Wee goalies, Bantam
Okay.
goalies, high school goalies. So we work with some of the Hermantown high school goalies, Bantam goalies. Work with some of the East Bantam and Pee Wee goalies.
Okay.
We'll be working with Marshall goalies this week for the first time. So we pretty much run the age gamut for all the goalies.
And pretty soon you'll probably do Stella Mars.
Hopefully.
We'll see what happens there. But we do, we also have a couple Mite 2s that are out with us, and we would love to have more younger goalies
Right.
get started so that we can help get that foundation
Yeah,
for
the
them, so that
fundamentals.
development,
Yep.
exactly, so that they can build on that foundation and develop their skills.
Even with our older goalies, we start from the foundation. We start from the basics, and we explain to the boys and girls that this is what pros do, this is what high-level college goalies do. You're always working on your fundamentals of your edge work, your stance, your hand positioning, proper eye attachments, and we build off of those lesson by lesson by lesson so that we're constantly working them towards improvement.
So what happens if a kid comes in there and he's so much better than the average kid? Do you bypass some of that stuff, or do you still go back to the basics, everything?
It all builds off from the basics, right?
Okay.
So for someone to come in that we've never worked with, that he might be, a lot better than some of the goalies that we have, we still have to get an idea as to where he's at, right? Because making one small change, one small detail can make a huge difference in their game.
The key, and not to interrupt Terrace, but the key is we have an iPad, and
Okay.
we will break down movements no matter if it's already an elite level high school goalie or a beginner goalie. We will break down their movements, we'll stop, we'll study it, we'll look at them, show them, we'll work them backwards from the problem spots. So we're teaching on the at the moment, not just on the go, and that's making a huge return in the quick improvements that goalies are seeing.
So I see last 20 years, 400 games a year, and I still don't know anything about a goal. All I say
Just
is,
ask any coach around here; they don't know anything either.
stop the puck. That's all I say. Okay, now you bring these kids in. Do you look at the way they're athletic? Where are they going to be a stand-up goalie? Are they going to be a butterfly goalie? Are you teach all that?
We're teaching to current goaltending play. So Terrace and I, we both have some gray hair. We're a little bit older. So I know when my son was coming up out in Seattle area, I went back and re-taught myself parts of the position because I came from the era of the early to mid 80s where butterfly was just becoming a hybrid name. And so we teach all the aspects. We have connections at the junior level, pro levels, and we will reach out and ask questions and get some drills sent to us as well. But we're always trying to stay on the cutting edge and the most the newest parts of the position being taught right now.
So you just mentioned one thing about just stop the puck.
Right,
That's coaching 101 from a coach who doesn't know anything about goaltending, right?
There you go.
And it's one thing that we tell our goalies is, yeah, our job is to stop the puck. But what we're going to do is we're going to help you from the basics and the fundamentals of choosing the right save selections to get into position to make those saves.
And then after you make the save, how to get that puck out of the zone, help your teammates, right?
Well, it's not just getting the puck out of the zone. It's Jerry mentioned it earlier. Eye attachment. You got to track the puck, right? So every time you're making a save, you're doing something, and whether it's tracking the puck, whether it's communicating with the defenseman or the forwards, you have to be doing something so that your team gets possession of the puck and has the ability to get the puck out of the zone.
Yeah, and further to your question, Jerry, it's really that first save selection. We want our goalies to almost be like a third defenseman, and the save that they make, where they direct that rebound, is for their defense or their forwards to have the first opportunity to get control of the puck for a quick one-time pass out of the zone. So
Right.
you're asking the question in the right frame of mind.
Right, and just watching Staylock and watching other goalies. Wait a minute, Staylock does something different. He's not even in the net.
Hence a few last night.
He's been pretty good at what he does, though, because he's playing pretty good for the Blackhawks, and he's getting up there in age, too.
Well, I don't know if he's getting up there in age.
He's in his
He's 30s,
over
mid-30s.
well, at least, yeah.
Maybe he is. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the Flower. I mean,
No, he's getting up there in age,
That's-
I mean-
but he's able to still play at a high level.
well, I had a lot of concerns because I went to the first 3 games, and he allowed 17 of the 20 goals in 3 games there, and he didn't look too sharp. But now, since he went on the road, so what is it? Is the reflexes slow down? You think that much, or
To me, I think the team let in 17 goals.
nah? The defense, yes,
team.
a lot of breakdowns, That's correct, but a team needs a good goalie when that happens to make the big save sometimes, and that's what makes a good team.
I think, too, when you look at the professional levels this year, there were more teams bringing younger goalies in, giving them more looks in the preseason. So Marc-Andre Fleury, as an example, didn't really start to get his timing until those first 2 or 3 games. And when you look at his last 5 games, how stellar he's been playing, he's got his rhythms, he's got his movements, he's got his angles. He's more like the Marc-Andre Fleury we're used to seeing. But this training camp for many of the clubs, they brought in younger goalies and gave them more looks in the preseason, and I think there's been a number of older goalies that struggled in their first 2 or 3 starts this year.
And plus, you better bring them in because older goalies, they can't just go 80 games, you know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I say 60, I'm 60 at the most, I'm thinking right.
Yeah, I don't know. The workload management needs to be there, but you're going to have 4 or 5 goalies. Vasilevsky, I think Markstrom was up there 60 games last year as well. You don't see it as much as you used to, but I think that's just because the game has changed.
But I think, too, if you bring that back down to what we're doing, and you look at tryouts in the local Duluth area have now come to an end, and there's some goalies that have the talent to be on an upper level team that may not have made it, so they're maybe on a B1 or a B2 team. And the idea at the younger levels is get them to compete in as many games as they can. If you have 2 goalies or 3 goalies on a 30-game schedule, that's 15 games apiece. If you have 1 goalie at a B2 team that plays 35 games, they're going to get 35 games. They're going to get a lot of game situations that they're going to be able to learn and develop from. So
Right.
there is a key. The more you play, the better your habits become, the stronger the competition from the mindset becomes as well.
Yeah. We're talking to Jerry Pickar and Terrace
Lendzyk.
Lendzyk.
Yes.
Sorry,
Good Ukrainian name.
I just came back from Minnesota when you were playing. I'm still in California a little bit, but they're just starting the Upper Midwest Elite Goalie School
Elite Goalie Academy. Yep.
Academy. Okay, give us some information on that, where it's at, what's your website, and what's your phone number in case anyone wants some information.
So website is www.uppermidwestelitegoalieacademy.com. Yes, it's a long one, but go there once, it'll keep showing up in your browser. Most people that have gone to the website, my number is listed on there, so they're calling me 218-310-1329. The email address is info@elitegoalieacademy.com.
Info at Goalie Academy.
No, info@elitegoalieacademy.com. And I want to mention as well, Jerry and I and Patty have gotten this thing going, but we also have 2 other coaches with us, and we are extremely pleased and happy to have Ben Pat, who just finished up with the UMD
Oh, yeah,
Bulldogs.
yeah.
He is one of our coaches, and then Luke Olson, former Hermantown Hawk goaltender, won the state tournament with the Hawks a few years back. Who is now the goalie coordinator up in Hermantown for the Hermantown Amateur Hockey Association.
Okay.
He's one of our coaches as well.
And that phone number again is 218?
310-1329. And when people go visit the website, everything is right there. They can see, they can choose different packages, how many sessions that you want. The cost is right there as well. And then parents are able to book the sessions right online. Okay?
And that website again, I might have did it wrong, but Upper Midwest Elite Goalie Academy.
Academy.com, yes.
Okay. Great. Okay, question I have. Okay, these kids come to your school now. What's the number one thing you want to teach these kids?
First off is good foundation, good stance. Everything builds out of that stance. Proper hand position, shoulder position, head position. Then we work on eye attachment, and then we start to build the saves and how they build upon each other. So what I mean by that is you make your first save, maybe it's a butterfly stick save, then we start teaching rotations with the shoulders, the hips, and the head, so that you follow your rebound. You can either slide or get back up to your edge, just T-push over. So we're really working out of that main foundation stance and then going from there. Further to that is really the eye attachment, which is so important. A lot of the younger kids struggle with that, but the eye attachment, following the puck or tracking the puck right to your body, into your glove, to your blocker, to the corner, really helps the focus and really decreases what ends up in the back of the net at the end of the day.
Boy, that's a lot for these young kids. But hey, they want to be a good goalie. I mean, you need the training now. You just can't do it by yourself anymore. You got to go to these schools and camps and training and go with people that played the game, and know the game.
Well, you look at skaters and defensemen. There's always camps for skaters and defensemen, right? They get that individual training. The goalies, the coaches and the instructors want goalies there so that the skaters and the defensemen can shoot the puck at them. But there's really no training involved there. Goalies need the training, just like the skaters and the defensemen do. And now there is something here locally that is here to develop. As Jerry stated, start from that foundation and grow. What we have seen over the years is probably a lack of goaltending in each association, that when you get to some of these teams, there's only one goalie. And without that goalie being pushed by someone else, that also hinders development. Because that goalie that's always in the net, who may not have the coaching either, is just in there stopping pucks, and he's not working on those skills to further his game, his or her game.
You went to Duluth East, right?
Yep.
I remember when Randolph, 20 years ago, his teams, I mean, the goalie never got 15 shots a game. I mean, how do you learn if you don't practice hard, you're in trouble. I mean, you can't make it on 15 shots and playing 22 games or whatever, So you need games and you need shots.
Well, I grew up in an
And the
era.
training.
I grew up in an era where right ahead of me was the late Mike Cortez.
Oh,
One
yeah.
year behind me
Right.
was Tim Cortez.
Yeah.
When you looked across the city at Central High School, you had Gordy Meager. And when you looked at Denfeld, you had Rob Stauber.
Yeah.
So we had a very competitive goalie community back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
And all of us went on to play major college.
Right.
It has surprised me in the few years since I've been back in Duluth that we don't have a lot of consistent elite level goalies at the number of associations that we have locally. What we're finding now, and Terrace might be able to talk to this more than I, but some of these associations are having holes at birth years where there's no goalies. And so if somebody doesn't step up and really step out to train the goalies and to bring that passion and love back to the position, we're going to end up in the greater Duluth area with a shortage of goalies in the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. And so we really are trying to develop goalies at all levels and really push them to become elite status by the time they get to high school. But like you said, if you're on a powerful team in high school, how many looks are you going to get from college scouts if you're only having 15, 17 shots and you're giving up 2 or 3 goals? Right. And we always tell the kids that we work with, you have to make so many saves. You're required to make them, but you better be able to make 3 or 4 saves that keeps the game in your team's favor. Saves that you're not expected to make. Right. And so that's what we're trying to teach as well, that competition, that compete mentality to make those saves on the second and third opportunities. But it's a potentially real issue that we could have a goalie shortage in the near future.
Well, that's why you got your school, the Upper Midwest Elite Goalie Academy.
Yeah. And as Jerry touched on with the association goalies and potential shortage. So what we do as well, not just the personal training and private lessons, but we also go to the associations and work with their goalies. So for this 22-23 season, we are going to be working with the Hermantown Amateur Hockey Association goaltenders. We're going to be doing a total of 8 sessions. We have 7 more remaining. We are going out to Hayward, Wisconsin. We have our first session there this Wednesday, but we're going to be going every Wednesday. We'll be working with the high school goaltenders, both the boys and the girls in Hayward, and then right when we're done with them, working with the association goalies. So last year we worked with the goalies for the Duluth Northern Stars. We'll be working with them again.
Okay.
And we're still in the works for a couple other teams of working with the association and even their high school goaltenders.
Okay, the question I have, okay, you're in Duluth, and you probably work with a lot of kids from the Daha Association that come to your school. The kids that don't have the money and that, goalie equipment's expensive.
Yes, it is.
Do you get help from the associations with that? If you see a kid that really wants to be a goalie but doesn't have the money, or is there help there anywhere?
I can tell you from what I know with Hermantown, Hermantown does have goalie gear for the Mite 2s up to squirts.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they're given that goalie equipment at the start of the year. And then at the end of the year, obviously, it's got to be returned.
Okay.
At the Mite 2 level, for most associations, most of the goalies are, most of the kids on a team are rotating through the goalies. So one game, one of the kids is a goalie. Next game, they have somebody else in as a goalie.
So, I don't know what level hockey you like watching the most, but so I see a lot of pro, college and that, but boy, I'm impressed with this young kid from Lakeville playing for the Dallas Stars, Jake Ottinger. The playoffs last year, he was just amazing, and the way he started out this year, I think it must help that he's 6'5".
I would say so. I mean, I was only 5 foot nothing, quick like a cat, but size obviously helps.
Yeah.
But without knowing for 100% certain, I could probably say that, he's probably had some individual goalie training and private lessons probably from a young age.
Right. Plus he went to the development team and that.
I believe he was Boston University.
Yeah.
Was it Boston University?
Played U16 in St. Louis against my son.
Really?
And then he played at the National Development Program. So he's been very well schooled, well coached, but he also has that it factor. And that's what a couple minutes ago I was talking about, teaching kids to compete. Jake has always been a competitive goalie. Like, he's very technically sound, but if he gives up a rebound, he's not worrying about the technique. He's getting in position somehow, some way to make that save. And you're really seeing that this year. His development has been phenomenal the last couple of years with the Stars organization.
Let's talk about our home team. Statesco is back in the nets, and he went through a lot of health problems there, and good for him that he's back playing. And he had a little hard time in the beginning, but this last weekend, he was stand up and he made some big saves, for UMD.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see the games this weekend, but Zach worked with us a year ago, this past summer, when we did weekly sessions down at Heritage Center. And Zach's a fantastic young man, and when he was at Grand Rapids, and then he went to the USHL, then he was in the NAHL as well. He's had some up and downs, health situations and whatnot, but he's starting to come into his own as well, right? Those first couple of weeks, you got new goalie partners, you're getting to know your new team, you're getting to know the new environment, and he's obviously the number one goalie. Coach Sandelin keeps putting him in as number one, and he's going to keep getting stronger and keep getting better. He's got that fighter mentality as well. So.
And you guys doing this school, to me, when these kids get older, all the best teams now, the hockey has changed so much how they play the game, where, I mean, the best teams have D that you think they're forwards. I mean, they're below almost every one of them, like the Gophers, every one of their D go below the goal line all the time. But they're great skaters and everything. So that must be, I mean, extremely hard for goalies when they have, it's so fast of action that, boy, you better be pretty flexible.
Well, I think what you're alluding to, there's a lot of coaches from the professional levels on down to youth levels that teach the fourth option of the defenseman jumping up into the play. So as you enter your offensive zone, you have that D that's going to the net, going to the top of the circles, below the tops of the circles. So we do teach, again, it goes back to the eye attachment, head checks. Every movement, your head's always checking the puck, checking the play, back out front. So we do teach that, and that's very important. Body positioning, what angles are you deep in your crease? Are you against your post? Are you taking, if you're a 6'5" kid, can you play big and just play the angles off of your post and your crease and be deep in your crease? So all of that plays into, can you make that save on that fourth option? Can you make the save on the third option? Like, knowing the zone entries is very important, and educating goalies so that their hockey IQ allows them to understand where their next save selection may be taking them.
Boy, that's got to be hard for kids to learn that. That's a lot of training, and if they stay with it, I guess they're going to learn it.
Yep.
Right.
And being on the ice during games, they really learn it.
Exactly.
And you know, what Jerry was just talking about is something that hasn't been offered around here. And Jerry mentioned it early on. Yeah, we do the training sessions, but we also offer game review. And kids need to see, those game situations of the zone entries and what they're doing and the play in the offensive zone and what they're doing. Are they scanning the ice? Are they turning the head to locate where everybody is on the ice? More and more teams are doing game review. Because there's a lot more options now with MinnesotaHockey.tv, whatever it is that they're using. But we can break it down for them and just specifically look at the goalie stuff and help the goalies learn from game situations as well.
All right. Well, our time is up, and we got to thank two goalies, Jerry Pickar and Terrace Lendzyk.
Very good.
Got it.
And
I had to tell you 3 times.
And you youth players, call up Upper Midwest Elite Goalie Academy, and you can do that, Upper Midwest Elite Goalie Academy.com, their website. Terrace's number is 218-310-1329.
Yes.
And you can get info at info at elitegoalieacademy.com, correct?
That is correct.
Well, thank you, guys. It's great talking goalie talk, as we need good goalies in this state.
We appreciate the opportunity
All right.
to come back in and see you.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Jerry. Hope
Yep.
we can come back again.
Yep. And that's it for Monday, October 31st, Minnesota Hockey Connection. See you at the rink.